All right. We
Good,
are back.
guys.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the After Five podcast. This is your boy, Josue. I am forever joined by my two buddies here, Lewis to the box up to the upper left,
Here.
Oliver to the right underneath me, and our lovely producer, Miss Judy Champagne Mommy. How are you doing, guys?
Good.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ah, this was a fucking pain in the ass to set up right now, but we're here. We were having some technical difficulties. I gotta figure out how to be able to speak into one of these friggin' punk ass microphones we got here. I see we're losing people
It's
already.
okay as long as
No,
we're
there we go.
on.
There we go. There
As
we go. I'm good.
as long as we're on, it's all that matters.
Good, good. Judy, I'm noticing that for some reason your Wi-Fi when you're sitting there breaks you up a lot. See? Can you
I
hear
turned
us?
off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Or because we can't
All
see you
right.
though, we just see a J. You know what you should put there? Like it should be like her face or some shit like that, like a stripper pole instead of the J. Oh, there she is.
There you
Oh my
go.
god. I gotta try not to get so close to this fucking screen while I'm talking to you guys. But
No, don't do it because it's a scary look. It's a scary look for us.
yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Hey, it's a scary look for everybody, man. Look at everybody's hair. Whoa, sorry guys. Look at your hair and my hair, Judy.
Well, actually, my hair looks better than yours. FYI.
she does.
No, no offense.
And softer, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just imagining at this
Yes.
point.
Don't you wish you had this kind of hair?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, back in the early '80s, if I was on a fucking on a hairband.
In a while.
Hairband. Oh man,
Between
it's
be, between Oliver, Lewis, and Josue, you guys wish you had this like mane right here going on. Look at this.
I know Oliver misses having that hair.
I used to have I used to have pretty decent hair back in the day. Remember? I had it long, but it just faded away and just kept going back.
Just slowly, your hair kept running away from your face. All right, gentlemen and ladies. Judy, I know you're gonna hate this first topic. So
It's cool.
we had people send us in ideas for topics, and we love it. I love when people send ideas for topics because it's just one less thing that we have to do here.
Yes, I love that too.
But the first topic we're going to talk about is the Jordan documentary. Well, it's the Bulls. It's the Last Dance. It's a documentary about the Chicago Bulls and their last championship. Judy, you've heard of Michael Jordan. Sure,
Obviously.
you've worn his sneakers at some point. Your husband wears his sneakers. Your
I'm not
boys.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never in my life owned a pair of Jordan sneakers, but my kids do. So it's okay.
Who here has owned Jordans? Lewis, I know you've been owning Jordans since we were kids. Oliver, you've never owned a pair of Jordans? This fucking guy. I can't hear him now. Did you mute yourself?
I think so. Para comer tanta mierda.
Yeah, he did mute himself.
Ah, damn it, Oliver. Hold on. You were talking all that shit earlier. All right.
Oliver, unmute yourself.
Here, Oliver, don't
As,
touch anything.
as your
Okay.
producer, unmute yourself.
Good Lord. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to unmute him here. Unmute audio.
Yeah, I've never owned a pair of Jordans in my life. And like never.
Dude,
I find them too boyish for me, but my husband and the boys for sure have a few pairs in their closets. Just it's not my look. They're nice. It's not for me, which is
Oh,
fine.
no.
But
I love them. I've had them for a while. Pretty much. Lewis was the first out of all of us. Steve, you had Jordans since you were like 7 or 8 years old.
I had Jordan. I had the first ones. The ones that which ones are? I think the threes. I had them back in third grade. I think I had those. But I used to do everything with those shoes. I used to go to the park. There wasn't like now where people are like, hey, I don't want to. I used to use those shoes to everything.
Well, because back then those shoes for an 11-year-old cost $75, $60 back then.
That was a lot of money, bro, back then.
Yeah, that's true. It's all right. What's up, buddy?
Oliver, I don't know, man.
Can you hear me?
Ahora
Now we
sí.
can hear you. What are they? Aren't they going culo? Like, why do you keep messing around with stuff?
You could hear me?
Yes, we could hear you.
For the last 20 minutes when you weren't on, I had everything going fine. All right?
All right, so we're good. You've never owned a pair of Jordans, is what you're saying.
Never owned no fucking Jordans, man.
¿Y por qué no?
One, parents couldn't afford them. And two, once I was able to afford them,
Didn't want-
I really wasn't that into it. I bought my kids Jordans.
I think Oliver had a choice one time between Jordans and LA Gears, and he took the LA Gears.
He looks like an LA Gear kind of guy.
I had a pair of
British
LAs.
Knight, all right?
Hey, I had a pair of British Knights. British Knights were the shit. Judy, this is way before your time. You don't know what the fuck a British Knight is.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I did have a pair of LA Gears growing up, and I loved them. They were super comfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
I think everybody had LA Gears. I mean,
I
it was
never
always
had
big
LA
with the,
Gears.
you never had LA
Yes.
Gears? They were big. I never had LA Gears, but they were big with the girls. Oliver,
Yeah,
really.
they were like
I remember I had a pair that they were white and they were glittery like on the bottom part, and they would light up every time like I would like step on. It would light up on the side. They were super cute.
those were like aerobic sneakers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they were. That's what the commercials were.
Yeah, I remember.
Oliver, let me ask you a question. Why does it
Yes.
look like you're in a dressing room somewhere?
Because that's
Huh?
how we do.
Are you
That's
in
how
a
we do.
dressing room?
No, it's just
Are you at
Who you-
Nordstrom?
that's the way my shit is, man.
Oh,
Who
all
you
right.
watching on-
Hey, not bad.
Oliver,
Airbnb.
who are you watching being undressed?
Yeah, he's
I
watching
wish.
somebody.
I wish.
Macho,
Keep it to
him,
the
but I didn't give a
side,
fuck at this
bitch.
point. He's been in so much fucking quarantine that at this point he doesn't give a shit who's undressing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Right,
I'm
so-
sorry guys, but we're like on a short time. Let's go back to the main subject, the Jordan documentary, guys.
All right,
We
there
went
we go.
super off topic.
Thank you, Judy.
Let's get back to this.
Yeah, no.
Performing her producer role there. I like it.
No.
Can everybody show their drinks to the camera?
Yes.
Cheers, bitches.
Oh,
Oliver with that comic book beer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ready for the election.
Elefante.
what's it called, man? For people listening to us and not looking at us.
This bitch is called Delirium Tremens, and it's an 8.5 by volume beer.
It
Dude,
sounds
that-
like a fucking Japanese energy beer.
That looks like you got a plain aluminum can and you got a pair of boxer shorts and cut them out and just wrap
Just
it
fucking
up.
wrapped it around.
To whoever is listening, if you can only see Oliver's beer, it literally looks like a cartoon can. Like it doesn't look like a real
Does.
beer bottle. It's not something you've heard of or anything in that form. It's just a fucking elephant on a blue can. That's
What
what
is
it
it? Delirium tremens. It's an elephant. That literally looks like something some fucking stoner drinks on his way to a club somewhere that he stops at some
Exactly.
shitty ass gas station.
Yes, exactly.
And I promise you
Louis,
that kind of beer costs probably like $5.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Louis,
the 4-pack is like $12.
Where'd you get it?
So, tagarita. Brother, the local Publix has them.
Oh, mira para allá.
And yeah, bro, it's actually pretty good. 2 of these will put you on your ass.
está
So,
bien.
it's pretty
Oh yeah,
but
let's
it
get
don't-
back to
it
his
doesn't-
airness.
It doesn't taste bad.
Really
Well-
quick before we get back to the Jordan documentary, Louis, what are you drinking? Josue, what are you drinking? And then after you guys are done, I'll say what I'm drinking so our listeners can know what is it that we're drinking on this podcast.
I'm having a Tito's and orange juice, aka screwdriver.
Nice. Josue,
Having beer.
what kind of beer?
You got coffee in that bitch. Don't give us no fucking
Yeah,
bullshit.
No, no.
Mochaccino.
There's no coffee with fucking ice. It's Corona.
A Corona? Awesome.
Ooh.
I'm having the Palms Rose because it's my favorite.
Nice. There you go. Hey, my bad, Oliver, that I don't have my fucking beard doesn't have an elephant on it. Snubbing his nose at my fucking beard. It's just the wrong beer to have, the wrong name to have right now. But I'm trying to help them
Whatever.
out, dude. Their stock went down
Whatever.
exponentially.
It's delicious. It's delicious. All right, back to the Jordan documentary.
All right. Everybody's always known Jordan's an asshole. Like that shit's like universally known. But then you watch this documentary and you kind of appreciate his assholeness. Like,
And then you think the whole organization was an asshole.
yeah. Well, I was reading an article where that shit puts his whole acceptance speech when he got accepted to when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It kind of puts it in perspective why he was so petty and like just going at people, especially short ass fat Jerry Krause. Like they broke that shit up a good maybe year or two early. They could have gone 4 or 5 in a row, maybe. And, but it was cool, man. I liked the documentary. It was definitely a real look at like just everybody kept saying the same thing. Like this dude's different. This dude's different. This dude's different.
Yeah. And if you notice, a lot of the stuff that you see on Facebook and stuff like that, it's I don't know if LeBron James is doing it on purpose, but like to compare him to LeBron James nonstop. You see it all over the place, and then you see like people, huh?
It's different. Forget about the different generations because I think to be considered the greatest player of all time, that means that you would be able to play in any generation and still be as dominant as you are. Jordan sure as shit could have played in the 50s, could have played in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Right now, Jordan would be averaging 40 points a game because they can't touch him.
Exactly.
You know? The closest thing to Jordan, to me, was Kobe Bryant. And that's just stylistically, like the way they played, the way they approached the game.
And there was still a drop off because Kobe was not Jordan. And as great as Kobe was, Jordan would just take over a game on both ends of the court, you know?
I don't know, man. Kobe would too. Kobe's not as great, but Kobe would too. Kobe had that DNA, though, man. Kobe, which is something LeBron doesn't have. I don't give a fuck with anybody. I mean, aside from that Game 6 against the Celtics, I've never seen LeBron with that Kobe, Jordan kind of like just ice in the veins, go out the throat, man, go out the jugular and just murk motherfuckers. Judy dropped off for a few minutes. Judy went to the bathroom.
Okay.
No, I'm doing an Instagram post. Continue talking.
Oh, all right. But that shit was cool.
Right.
It was good. I mean, we got to see things that we probably didn't know about, especially Phil Jackson being that last year. They were adamant about Phil Jackson 1 year, about Scottie Pippen taking, that whole first half of the season off on purpose.
I forgot about that.
Foot injury. I mean, I remember they sucked. I mean, this was our senior year in high school when this was going on, and
we were focused on other shit. We were focused on ass, bro. We weren't focused on the 98 Bulls, you know what I'm saying?
But I do remember they sucked in the beginning of the year, and then they ended up in the finals. And I do remember that. But great team, man. When you look at that roster, you kind of wonder who the hell could beat them. I mean, Tony Kukoc, Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper, Jordan, Pippen, you had shooters. Steve Kerr.
Shoot.
And then you had an amazing coach. I mean, Phil Jackson's probably the greatest coach that ever coached. So
and they played, and the game was super physical back then. It was different. It was a different style of play. I think LeBron can adjust to today. When Jordan used to play.
I have the body for it.
I don't know. I mean, I think he could. I think he'll deal with that. If not, he'll fight 2 or 3 times, and then it'll.
Well, Sean Kemp was a poor man's LeBron back then, anyways.
Exactly.
Sean Kemp was built just like him.
Exactly the same style of player.
No, but Sean Kemp didn't have the handles. Sean Kemp.
No, of course not. No, he didn't.
Sean Kemp was not close.
Listen. That's why I said poor man's LeBron.
I know.
LeBron James, the fall off is incredible, but the build, the
jumping ability, the athletic ability.
Yeah, athletic ability complete.
Athletic ability, yeah.
LeBron James handles the ball like he's 5'10". Like he handles the ball like a true freaking point guard, just like Magic. But then again,
Huh.
you can't compare Magic to LeBron because Magic doesn't have LeBron's athleticism.
Right.
And Magic smiles too much.
Exactly.
Magic was way too sweet.
This guy fell
But,
off his chair. Or what?
I have a question.
I think Oliver went to Judy's house now. Like, Judy, is Oliver there? Because, there he is, back.
I
What
have a
happened? Someone-
question.
Oliver, someone had to use the dressing room?
Not yet.
What's the question, Judy?
For us people that are not sports
Who's Michael
fans.
Jordan?
No, not who is Michael Jordan. Like everybody who knows who the fuck Michael Jordan is. Where can you find this documentary?
ESPN.
Univision.
Está bien, there you go. Perfect. Because
No,
I
no,
would not
Galavision.
know. I would not. I would not know where to find this. But for our listeners who are maybe not sports fans, but good night, Poppy. Sweet dreams. I love you. Sorry, I had to say good night to my child.
You were saying goodnight to your husband.
No, it was to my
Uh-huh.
child. But to sports fans that maybe have not seen the documentary, I just want to know or want to let our listeners know where they can find this information.
Thank you. That's very thorough of you. But yeah, ESPN. ESPN plays the edited version. ESPN2 plays it with the fucks and the shits and the bad words.
There you go. So for our
Right.
listeners, there you go.
It's what, it's a 6-part documentary, right? No, or 12.
10 part. 10 part.
10 part. Whew. So that's spanning a few fucking Sundays. It'll be a whole month, right? Something like that. And you saw that. Speaking of LeBron is kind of the one that, like, the catalyst that pushed for that shit to come out early because it was supposed to come out in July. And then I guess because of all this COVID-19 stuff, all of a sudden the pressure was on to, have it pop out now.
Right,
And now
right.
you have
They want to get all the
straight up
views.
the world for real watching.
Yeah, they want to get all the views on that, and they're comparing him to LeBron, and that creates a fuckload of hype. Because it's just, it's the old generation versus the new generation, which people have seen time and time again, which has always driven traffic and attention, and it works. It works to get views and to get ratings. It's perfect.
When you're comparing LeBron to Jordan, that just tells me that we're kind of getting back to normal, a little bit at least. Yeah, people are talking more about stupid shit like that than, people dying and all the unemployment rate and all the crazy
Right.
shit. It's a good distraction. It was definitely a good distraction.
It keeps you sane.
Somewhat, right? I mean, between the homeschooling and the dealing with, everybody all day stuck in the same house and people working from home all day, it's a good distraction.
What I found it cool about the whole documentary was that Adam Silver, the current commissioner, back then he was in charge of NBA entertainment, had to negotiate with Michael Jordan to be able to record the whole season and gave Jordan the right to publish this whenever Jordan wanted. So
yeah.
it was kind of cool. I mean, it was a ballsy decision, but now it's paying dividends for not only the NBA, but also Disney or ESPN.
Yeah, Jordan's giving away the money too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's donating it.
He kept us in a vault for 20 years. He kept all this footage, and he decided when it was the right time to let somebody take it. And because this is just raw footage. It took a producer, an editor, like someone to come in, put that shit all together, and put context behind everything. Because for the most part, this wasn't a real documentary that was being filmed. Technically, this was just footage of every single game before and after. Then
Yeah, they
someone
just put it
took all
together.
and they put it together, which supposedly has taken a few years to
Kind of like the Tiger King.
that was a few years and then hey, don't you ever dare compare anything to the Tiger King. We're gonna get to that later. We're gonna get to the Tiger King later.
Par it in.
Yeah, well, the Bulls gave locker room access specifically for this, and Michael Jordan had the choice of what director was going to take on, this project.
Well, he basically owned the rights to all this shit, so he's the one that said this person or this person.
It's
And I
cool
forgot
documentary. I'm excited to see the rest.
the who's what? What'd you say?
Huh?
Eh? You spitting out random shit? What'd you just say, Oliver?
Okay,
Alright,
okay,
we
guys,
got cut off.
guys.
So
Go to
I-
commercial. Go to commercial.
I understand that you guys are excited for this sports talk and all that stuff, but since we're on a time crunch, let's get back to the next topic. Hold on.
You got to judge Judy.
Let's get back to
Get that
getting
girl
back
hammered.
to normal. Getting
Yes.
back to normal and who is ready and how will things be back to how things were before.
Judy,
Let's
you
talk
first
about
have
that.
to you have to define first normal because some of us are not very normal.
Yeah, right.
Well, by normal, I mean being out in public again, being social, maybe not even wearing a mask, maybe not wearing our gloves again. Like, I understand that the new normal now is wearing gloves and wearing masks and social distancing, and I get that. And maybe things will take a long time to get back to that, but it's May 1st, beginning of May, things will start to reopen again. Like, what would be the new norm? What would be the new normal for us until things are safe again? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think the first time that you start, like the first couple of days that people do the interaction with the masks and they're very careful and everything, I think once you do that for a little while, and when they bring out the second report, if the slant starts going down, then people will forget about that in 2 seconds, dude. I mean, I think so. Not right away.
So?
If it starts going down like that, yeah, absolutely. After you do the first few interactions for a little while, for a couple of weeks or something, I think that's what will happen. Now, if you get a bad report, no. Or like if you get a Category 5 hurricane comes on shore in a couple of months and everybody forgets about it.
So you think this will pass? You think this is a situation where people are just going to get comfortable again, forget, and then it's just...
So. I think so, and I hope so. Because, I want it to be like that again. I don't want it to be, this...
How many people think this is the government trying to cover up Epstein not killing himself?
Nah, get the hell out of here, bro. That's Operation Wang Chung is what that was.
I just want it to be back to normal. We don't have to wear gloves. We don't have to social distance. We can hug our friends. We can hug our family members and not worry about this crazy pandemic and this crazy virus. Like, I really want to get to that point where I can hug my brothers, my cousins, my sister-in-laws, my nieces, my nephews. I just go to Publix and have a conversation with the cash register where there's not this plexiglass between us. I just want it to be normal. I really hate this.
Yeah,
this is annoying.
It feels like you're at the toy yard trying to get your car out of the toy yard.
Yes, it feels really bad.
Put the cash under the glass.
Yeah.
Something tells me Louis got his car out of the toy.
Crazy thing. When in the fucking world was it normal for you to walk into a bank with gloves and a fucking mask? It's never been normal till right now. I had to go to the bank
not
today.
unless I'm trying to rob the shit.
I went to the bank today for the first time in a while, and I had to wear a mask and gloves. It felt like I was robbing the bank. It literally felt like that's not normal. It's illegal to walk into a bank with mask and a glove. It's unheard of. And now that is our new norm.
Because usually when you go see the banker, the banker's putting on the glove when he goes to see you.
he's the one. Well, from my understanding, it's actually illegal to wear a hat or sunglasses on your face in a bank.
Yes, it's illegal to wear a hat, a mask, and sunglasses to a bank. And now that is the new normal. And it's so weird because it literally feels like you're robbing a bank. And you're not. You're just in there for a transaction or for whatever you need for personal reasons or whatnot. And that is a new normal. And I hate it.
Judy, it's a dry run.
I'm surprised more banks haven't been robbed.
I think I don't know. I think that
Yeah.
restaurants will see the effect first. First, they'll let X certain amount of people to come into the restaurant. You'll see like the gyms and stuff like that. Some of the I remember the 24-hour fitness, I think, is filing bankruptcy. I think the gyms, now that people got used to doing stuff at home, that may do an impact on the gyms. But I mean,
I think people are going to realize that they're paying $29.99 for the last fucking 5 years, and they go twice a week, if that. And people have actually built their little home gyms. I know I set it up here. I cleaned out the garage, and I have a little, 5x5 space in the garage where that's where my bench is. I got the weights. I don't need any more than that.
Like for example, me, I have to go to the gym. Like I can't do that whole shit in the house. I need the whole get ready, stretch before, go park. I need that. If not, I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm not that motivated.
Not me, man. I'm good with walking into my garage. Also, I work from home, so that's why to me to then leave to come back. But the gym is the least of the worries right now, though, man. I mean, it's people, like barbers, man, beauty salons like Judy's, like all these people kind of getting back to that. I mean, they're talking about how people are rushing to these barber shops, beauty salons once the shit gets lifted. But are they really going to be doing that? God willing, yes. But you still have people that are freaking out. You still have people that aren't comfortable with, having their barber's nuts on his elbow while he's getting a haircut all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. So
Look,
at this point, who knows what's going to happen?
Look, for our next episode, we're going to talk about the SBA loans and the private loans through the bank, because a lot of these high-end franchise companies have applied for these loans, and the government have given them millions and millions of dollars to these franchise that don't even need this money. So a lot of small businesses are not being helped with this pandemic. So for the next episode, we'll leave that for the next episode. But I just wanted to leave that for our listeners. That next episode we'll be talking more financially things about the SBA and the private loans through the bank, because I got an email and I wasn't too happy about that email. So we're gonna continue to our next topic. Josue, you want to talk about this next topic?
Hold on. I think, Oliver, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that one thing's for sure: until there's a vaccine, we're not gonna get back to that normal lifestyle that we're used to. So until we have a vaccine or adequate treatment to treat the COVID-19, I still feel that we're gonna see a lot of social distancing, businesses operating at 50% capacity, people wearing face masks, a lot of testing.
It'll be a while.
I think that's going to be the new normal for the next probably 6 to 12 months before there's a vaccine developed.
Listen, I need this vaccine done because I want to go to the strip club. I'm dying to go back to the strip club.
The only thing you had to worry about was pink eye.
Yes.
Well, listen, it's going to get to the point where, the shit that I've read is that this is going to be seasonal. Like, we might be looking at shit like this every year. Not this bad. Hopefully, but once, if it develops into a new strain or whatnot, again, nobody here, except for Oliver, is fucking mentally equipped to understand these, goddamn, COVID-19 or anything like that. But the fact that they're talking about it might actually be seasonal or becoming seasonal at some point, that's just scary as fuck. Because that means it's going to be a part of our lives.
Hopefully by next year they'll have a vaccine, though.
Well, they have a vaccine, technically. Not a vaccine, but you got your flu shot. But the flu shot only covers X strains. Am I correct, Oliver?
Yeah, it's the flu is influenza, whereas this is coronavirus. It's just a different genus and species of virus. But yeah, the coronavirus has existed. This is just a different strand or a different subtype. And in the future, we're gonna get more of these. The MERS of a few years ago and the SARS of a couple years ago were similar respiratory infections. So we will see this. We will see it mutate, and I do believe once flu season comes around, we're gonna see it again, because a lot of things affect it, such as weather, people's immunities. So those are things that are gonna affect and make it a seasonal virus. very similar to influenza. So I do foresee us having an influenza vaccine compounded with something for coronavirus as well.
Hey,
So
as long as there's labs in China, boy, there's vaccines and all sorts of viruses and bullshit coming our way, and vaccines to fucking beat them. The vaccines to eventually, overtake the viruses, and then another virus is going to come out. That's just my conspiracy theorist, brain. But there's a reason why Bill and Melinda Gates have had, some hand in all of this. Like, their name keeps coming up, but again, that's a whole other fucking rabbit hole. But the whole hey, who was that? Is that the birthday girl?
Yeah, it's a birthday girl.
Oh, look at that.
Happy
And this is
13, huh?
the big 1-3, lucky number 13.
Yeah,
All right, so let's not embarrass Pam too much. Staying on the Chino topic. Did you guys hear? Well, I sent you guys the article about the Chinese agents. Supposedly, it's like a collusion between the Chinese and the Russians. But this isn't like, obviously, I was just going down a wormhole and shit, filming in the Gates bullshit. But where it came out of the USA Today, where Chinese agents were sending out mass text messages to Americans about there being martial law and all sorts of crazy shit that was coming out. And
I read that.
And they just, people from another country somehow were able to spread mass hysteria amongst the stupid in our country. That's scary.
I'm not surprised, Josue.
I agree.
Somehow I can see that happening.
But that is scary. That is. Didn't every one of you, at least one of you, get a text message from a friend or someone who knew someone that just heard that, X amount of military vehicles were being, how many pictures and videos didn't you see on, This Is Miami or these Miami Instagram accounts of military trucks supposedly coming into like South Florida or military trucks in New York? And it was bullshit. It was all bullshit.
Well, before this pandemic started, I was talking to a very close friend of mine where she was saying that a really good source was telling her that listen to this though, that there was gonna be a virus that's gonna go viral and that's gonna start killing people, and that she was telling me that I should like stock up on groceries for like 3 or 4, maybe even 6 months, because people were gonna die. It was gonna be serious and XYZ and yada yada whatever and all this good stuff. And then this friend, when after this pandemic started, I called her. I'm like, yo, this source you have was like level 100, and this is scary because everything she's told me has happened. And I was like, okay, this is somewhat serious. So maybe that's when I started to take this pandemic serious. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's just talking shit, or she's a BS, or this, or that, or XYZ, that I was like, okay, I got concerned a little bit because I was like, what she's told me has happened so far.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to know what the fuck connection she has. But
yeah, exactly. I don't know either, but her source was 100.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's an anesthesiologist, and she, when this first started happening, I mean, she wasn't foreseeing anything that we didn't know was already kind of technically happening. But before anybody was, fucking having to be sequestered in their home and stuff like that, like 3 weeks before shit got real, before there was lockdowns and everything else, she was the one that told me, and she was like, hey, like, you need to take this serious. I'm dealing with people. There had already been a couple of cases in South Florida, and she's like, I'm hearing from other doctors and stuff like that in other hospitals that this is going to get ugly. And this was like in the beginning of March. And lo and behold, and she said it herself. She's like, you need to go get some groceries, this and this. But I mean, we had already heard of the coronavirus. Like there had already been a few in Seattle, so it wasn't like she was coming up with something that was just like completely underground. And then she was the one that, like, me and my wife we kind of cringe about it now because we thought she was being crazy, but she was the one that was like, you guys need to go to your groceries, go to PJ's, stock up because shit's gonna get bad. And lo and behold, shit got terrible. Like fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could see this coming. I mean, once you could see China going through their shit, you could figure that this was going to come this way anyways. I do think China had it long before they even announced it. I have my suspicions that it might have been a government project gone wrong in China. But yeah, shit was wild way back when in October, November.
I think it's retaliations for the tariffs.
Listen, it could have been a bioterrorism weapon that they've been experimenting with.
What's up with your mic?
You can hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but like you're very tunnely.
Oh, it's
there you go.
Much better, much better.
I think it might have been a government experiment gone wrong, and the bug leaked, and people got sick within that institution, and all of a sudden it spread throughout
Wuhan, China. Believe it or not, Chinese government does have a biological laboratory in Wuhan, China. So that's why I have my suspicion it might have originated as a bioweapon.
And over there, God knows how many people have died, bro.
So could it have been a weapon that kind of like backfired on them as well?
Could have been. That's what I think it might have been. Bro.
You know what I mean? It's they weren't expecting to lose fucking how many people died over there? Well, more have died in New York than have died in any other country.
Well, that's what they say, but I don't believe that.
You don't think so?
Chinese numbers are nothing to believe about.
Nothing to believe.
You mean to tell me the Chinos are lying?
There could be 200,000 people that died, 250,000 people that died over, and they haven't said anything.
Right, my favorite was Kim Jong-un. What is it, Kim Jong-un? That he was saying, y'all better not let that shit come over here, goddamn it, because it'll fucking kill us.
Imagine in Cuba. In Cuba, they don't really say the numbers that come out of there.
Yeah, but I don't think Cuba had many anyways. Cuba's an isolated country.
I don't know, man. Venezuela.
I think they have. Chinese travel to Cuba all the time, bro. Italians go to Cuba like a motherfucker.
Varadero.
Yeah, there you go.
Malecón. There you go. Yeah, what? Varadero, Malecón is all the same shit, right? It's all more or less in the same area. Chinos, the Italian, they all go to.
I have a question, guys.
Yes, Jay.
Yes, Jay. Okay, briefing on how things will change, like shopping, interacting, and future of sports. What do you guys think of that sort of nature?
Retail's dead. The malls are dead. We all figured out we don't need to go to a mall to buy shit.
Oliver, fix your mic.
No, don't start, because I enjoy going to the mall and I will continue going to the mall, and I need to go back to the mall.
Hey, you're gonna go to the mall by yourself, homie.
Yes, I will, and I enjoy it, and I'm very sad that the mall is closed.
Why are companies gonna spend money at the mall and retail when they're getting their business through online shopping?
Think about the overhead.
I hate it.
I know.
I hate it.
It's money talks. Money talks and bullshit walks, dude. So if you think about it, like Oliver was saying, like if they could save money on overhead and not have to have these huge fucking stores open up, and they just have a good account with FedEx or UPS or whatever.
No. Fuck that shit. I want to go to the mall. I want to see people. Like, no.
Bro, go to BJ's.
No, BJ. I don't like BJ's. I mean, BJ's is cool, but no, I want to go to the mall. I want to go to Louis. I want to go to Gucci, Chanel, Fendi, Prada, like Zara, Macy's. No,
you do that shit online.
No,
shopping.
No,
listen,
it's not the same. It's not the same.
Our Chinos will get that shit for you for half the price.
No, the one that might file bankruptcy is Neiman Marcus. I read that one yesterday.
Oh, you're kidding.
I heard about that, but you know what? I will
Too high
support
end.
Neiman. I will support Neiman Marcus because I like Neiman Marcus, and fuck the
Oh,
Chinese fake shit. And no, I need the malls to reopen. There's new bags, new shoes. I need to try on before I buy it. Like no, I
Well,
want the malls to open.
that's the hardest part is like, especially for women, like dudes, we're like, all right, we're a large, whatever it gets there is tight, we just fucking keep it and swear we're going to lose weight. But with women, it's different because their sizes vary and certain clothes and bullshit like that. I,
Yes,
I, I
yes.
don't think malls are going to shut down per se, but I definitely think you're not going to see the same volume of people going into these malls, and then that's going to cause for malls to change their dynamic, to change their structure, and you're going to
Which
see a
is
lot more
fine.
stores. You're going to see a lot more stores switching to online or doing pop-up stores and shit like that.
Which is fine, and I agree with certain things, and I agree that we have to have social distancing and all that stuff. I get it, but as a woman, we need to shop. Target, Walmart, Publix, Fresco y Más is not the same for us. Like we want to go back into a mall and shop. Like I miss shopping. I miss telling my husband that I just spent a few grand on his credit card. I miss it.
He missed the look on his face.
yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
Hey,
You don't
she's not my wife, and
understand.
my asshole just puckered. Like, not even my credit card. Listen,
Yes, you don't understand. I miss shopping. I miss like putting everything
All right,
out there.
I'm already at 15 times that she says shopping and 15 times that she said malls. Come on,
Yeah.
Judy, that's
Yes,
number 20.
I
Well, we'll
enjoy.
You're gonna have to wax a lot of ass to pay for all that
Yes,
shit.
sometimes I feel bad for my husband a little bit.
Pradera culo at the mall. No way.
we'll see. We'll see how that shit goes. I mean, and that's just one sector, man. You're talking about sports, and
Sports is the other one. Yeah.
like sports is going to be difficult, man, because
How about
had-
theater? How about movies? Who's gonna go to the movies?
Who's gonna go to movie theaters?
No, the movie's dying already, anyways.
no, I don't think so. I mean, I paid $29.99 the other day just for Trolls 2, and
Wait, wait,
that's
wait,
like,
Hold
what if
on.
it was just two of us watching that shit? And if it's just,
Hold
and
on.
if it's, huh?
Unless you have the Fire Stick, then it's different.
That is true. Yes, I did, and I do have a Fire Stick, but I couldn't. It took too long, man. That shit took too long. So huh? Where'd you go, Judy?
Hold on.
She fell in the pool.
Just getting a refill.
Well, either way, we paid $29.99 to watch Trolls 2 on demand here at the house, and it's just four of us. So I guess technically 10, 20. We did save some money, but I think that is going to be something new that they're going to do too, man. Where you're going to be able to pay the $30 and watch a brand new movie that just came out that day at your house.
I'm falling and I can't get up.
Yes, literally.
You good?
Does anybody else here have the Fire Stick?
Yeah.
I have a Fire Stick.
I
You
think
don't
have a
use
Fire
it.
Stick?
I don't
You
use
don't
it.
use it?
I
Oh,
don't
I'm
use
gonna
it.
send you. I'm gonna send you guys a message, and you can edit this out later. But I'm gonna
It's a
send you
pain
guys
in the ass,
later.
man. My Fire Stick sucks.
Who?
Like,
My,
My Fire
Mine is
Stick. I gotta go through
jailbroken
like
or
a
whatever.
bunch of bullshit. Mine's jailbroken too, bro. You got a good
But-
Fire Stick?
I don't know how to use that
I
shit.
got the hookup. I'm not gonna
All
lie.
right.
I got the hookup.
All
So,
right.
if you hear me.
yeah.
Hey, with the NWO shirt, I like it. That's
We
it.
watched
It's
Trolls
relative.
for free. We watch Trolls for free.
You watch Trolls for free?
For free.
So,
But
Well,
dude, sporting
no, they-
events, yeah, like we were saying, sporting events, all that shit, it's gonna change. We'll see if it's it's not gonna be for the better, but it's gonna be a while until everybody's
And
comfortable.
depending how much panic kicks in, people are gonna realize that, dude, we don't need all this shit that we're buying and all this shit that we're spending money on. Like, I mean,
except toilet paper.
if football season doesn't get played this season, okay, it might bother somebody. The players might get affected. But those people will be like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm looking out to make sure that nobody gets sick and, I can get what I can get.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We
I would
already
hate
know
that.
the NBA. All those guys came out and said they wouldn't play in front of no fans. Can you imagine that shit? And you're hearing the actual ball like bounce. You're hearing them talk shit to each other. Because unless you're sitting courtside, you don't really hear any of that stuff. So that's some weird shit. If I'm an NBA player to sit around and like listen, like that must be so weird. It sounds like
but if you're making $5-10 million a year, you'll get used to it really fast.
I will. Yeah, that is very true. But so we'll see. It's you know we'll see what that shit looks like. None of us know. This is uncharted waters. Nobody has any idea how anything's gonna fucking look. You know, but how anything's gonna look. What anything's gonna look like. You know, it's past 10 o'clock. My speech drops. Fucking.
I will say this. There's been pandemics in the past. We've gone over them, and we've gotten to stadiums with capacities of over 110,000 people. So at some point, we are going to get back to normal.
Eventually, I think that the coronavirus will be like the flu, and obviously, I think they're going to have vaccine for it, and I think we can be like around more than 10 people, and like Oliver said, we'll be able to be around hundreds and thousands of people, just like the regular flu, swine flu, the mosquito thing, and all those crazy things that have happened around us or time. So I think eventually it would be normal to us. Fulanito has a coronavirus. All right, no big deal. Just take your medication. It is what it is, or your vaccine, and just you go on with life.
And open the malls.
Yes. Yes.
Most importantly, open the malls.
Clear that.
Yes.
Plenty of parking.
I need to go shopping. Yes, I need to go shopping, and I need to support the single moms.
Yeah, you know what it is? We're running out of Netflix shit to watch, man. Everybody's running out of shit to watch on TV.
I'm running out of shit quick.
Yes.
Like I can't watch The Office anymore. Like I've already gone through that shit twice. Entourage, The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Dude, I've been watching. I told Josue earlier. I have a 24/7 channel of cops. I've been watching cops. I've been watching like every person get tased. How the cops were in the 80s with their mullets and pulling over a guy in a Trans Am and shit with his T-top broken. And it's just, it just goes over time and time again. And that's so much stuff that I've been watching that's just like, dude, I have a channel that's 24/7 Eddie Murphy stand-up.
For real?
Imagine that. I get Delirious, I get Raw, I get all the Saturday Night Live stuff, I get...
What station do you have, dude?
I have the cable thing. They have like this internet cable thing that gives you like all sorts of stuff that it streams.
And Eddie Murphy, 24 hours?
I get Tupac, I get DMX, I get, bro, the whoever you want, bro. Name a show. I get 24/7.
Okay, I have a question. Did you guys watch the Tiger King on Netflix?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so on Hulu, there's another series from TMZ, which is more into depth, and I like it. I'm on episode 2, and TMZ like really goes in on the Tiger King season from Netflix, and I'm obsessed.
Oh, they're breaking it down?
Yes, they're breaking it down, and it's really good. I'm on season 2, and I love it. And now that we're talking about the TV shows we've been watching, I am obsessed with Ozark. I've watched all 3 seasons in 1 week. I need season 4 to come out. I don't know what else to watch. I have a Fire Stick. I have the Disney thing. I have Hulu. I have Amazon Prime. I have Netflix. I have the unlimited stuff from the Fire Stick. I don't know what else to watch.
Did you watch Waco? Waco was good.
What's Waco?
Yeah.
Oh, David Koresh?
Yeah, David Koresh.
Branch Davidian caught by.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I get also Mike Tyson fights 24/7, all his fights. So there's no way that I don't flip through the channels and at least watch 2 Tyson fights. Because they would end in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't last very long. Maybe 7-8 years in, they might go 5.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. But you still have to watch it though. Even if you watch it 100 times, you're like, oh shit, all right, I have to watch it.
Oh man, there's a show that I just started watching called Black as Fuck.
Oh, I like that show.
Awesome, dude! You guys gotta watch that show.
Yes.
That's some racist shit, man.
He's a creator
No,
of
it's
Blackish. So that
Yes.
the dad is the actual
No, wait,
creator
hold
of
on.
Blackish.
Time out. He is the creator of Blackish. He is the creator of the Tyra Banks show, and he is the top creator of all the black TV shows, movies, and all that stuff that is being put out into the world.
Who's
So
this,
this
Tyler
show
Perry?
is no,
She
No.
literally just said he's the
Not.
creator of all the black shows, different strokes.
no, no.
Yeah. Good
Family
time.
Matters.
Fat Albert.
Oh, yeah,
No,
Cosby
no,
Show.
no.
Another Cosby
Yeah.
reference from Louis.
Hey, Judy's like every black show ever made. This motherfucker made it.
I'm gonna tell you right now who the creator of Blackish is. Hold on.
But he was he
It's
Black shit.
it's Kenya something. No,
Kanye West.
no, I forgot. Shit.
No.
Either way, the dude's funny as shit. He has like a deadpan kind of way of the show's funny. The entire show's funny. And the premise is that his daughter is filming a documentary on the family to get into NYU film school.
Yes.
So
It's
so she's doing like behind the scenes shit, and they're like him and his wife are like terrible fucking parents. But it's funny. Like it's you know it's good comedy. But I like that shit.
What network is it on?
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix special.
Netflix.
Black.
Yeah.
What's it called? Black as shit.
No,
And Judy,
Black AF. Black AF.
yeah.
Oh, Black AF.
Yeah, but that's a good show. That's definitely a good show. All right, people, we're getting pressing
Okay.
up against that time.
all right, man. Why not?
Judy, you got the name, Judy?
Yes, his name is hold on. Hold on.
Philip Michael Thomas.
Kenya Barris.
Good.
He
You
is
good?
the guy who is responsible for his shows as Blackish, Mixed-ish, and the films of Girls Trip and Barbershop and the Final Cuts. He
So
is
not the-
very popular. He is very popular, and he was the one that created the Tyra Banks show.
So not Good Times or the Cosby Show or not all the black shows.
Or in Living Color.
No. I'm
Fresh
talking
Prince
about
of Bel-Air?
the later times of the Blackish shows.
She's still stuck on the mall.
Don't go there,
Um,
girlfriend. Don't go there.
All right,
Mall,
so I
malls will
guess
open soon.
yes. So our time is up, guys. And Josue, what are your famous words?
Always lead with love, people. Thank you.
Always lead.
Go. You said it.
No,
Go.
go ahead.
Always lead with love. Thank you for joining us, for listening to us, for watching us here on this Brady Bunch fucking type-esque screen. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the emails, the IMs, everybody. It's definitely it's been humbling to see how many people are asking us when we're coming back on to talk shit. Like we're not doing anything different. Anybody could get in front of a Zoom camera. Everybody's been getting in front of a Zoom camera and start talking shit or behind a mic. So, but I mean, we definitely appreciate that people, log in and subscribe and see us. Speaking of that, follow us on Instagram, Facebook at the After Five Podcast, and you can hear us anywhere where podcasts are listened to at the After Five
Please.
Podcast.
And please like and subscribe. I'm dying to get to a certain number on our podcast. So please like and subscribe so you can listen to our recent episodes and
Perfect.
just listen to us talk shit. What else there is better to do in quarantine than listen
Nothing.
to us talk
Paulo.
shit?
All right, people.
All right, guys.
Got it.
All right, y'all. To the
Bye.
next one.
Bye.
Peace out, everybody.